The West Indies T20 series is going to be very, very crucial for World Cup prep. But in what manner will it be that way? That's what I'm going to discuss on today's show because we know that there was a preliminary squad that was selected. There are a couple of names on this list that are not in the World Cup squad. So the according to Rob Walter, the squad can still change before the West Indies tour. So I'm going to talk about why I think that this particular series is going to be important to the World Cup prep. It isn't for the obvious reasons I think that many might think. It might be a little bit of a different view, or maybe something that's a little bit slightly to the an unorthodox view of why I think so. It's based on certain things that I'm just looking at when I look at the squad, etc., and I try to collect a number of names, put them together to make up an 11 ahead of the World Cup. So I'm going to give you my reasons for that. We also, last week, we had the release of the fixtures for the South African cricket summer, SAA fixtures, Proteas fixtures, as well as Proteas women's fixtures for the summer coming up, and I'm going to discuss those as well on the show and how we feel about them, and we will be obviously covering all of those events as well too. So we're going to cover all of that. I'm also going to quickly dive into some IPL conversation, talk about some of the players over there that have and how they're doing from a South African standpoint. From my point of view, I'm not actually going to be talking about them as positively as some may think, but we're going to look at the details a little bit more in depth and have that discussion on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please first and foremost do. First, subscribe to the channel. It's If you are new and you haven't yet, please subscribe and click that notification bell for all future videos. We also need you guys to engage with the content that we are providing so that we can continue to do this, because if you guys don't engage, don't like, don't subscribe, don't comment, don't share these videos, it's going to make it very difficult for us to do more in the future. So please go ahead and do that right away. I would like you guys to please smash that like button and comment and share when you can. uh, we know that our title of this particular channel is Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and we've got a monthly magazine that's 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. And the link is on the screen as well as in the description. This is to give you exclusive content, a little bit more in depth, that will give you some insight into cricket from a different view. It gives you a little bit more depth when it comes to your knowledge about cricket. I strongly believe that we are all fans of the game. And if you are a fan of the game, you can never know everything about it, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how many games you've watched, no matter how many interviews you've done, for example, or how many cricket games you've played. You can never know everything about anything, I feel. So I think we're all still learning, and that's why I created the magazine, to give us different perspectives from different people within the industry, whether it be coaches, whether it be professionals, whether it be cricketers, etc., coaches, that can give us an insight and a way of looking at things that is slightly different. Nobody has the same opinion, nobody has the same information to give. Everybody has their own way or own style or own knowledge about this beautiful sport, and I think that it's something that we all should learn about and expand our knowledge as best as possible. If I'm not helping you guys doing so, or I'm not sparking on those type of thought processes, and you guys aren't doing the same for me, then we are not doing our job as a family over here in a community. It's supposed to be a two-way street. I'll give you information, but I like to hear the feedback from you too, because then I can also grow and expand and get you better content as well. So please make sure that you get involved with the live chat, you get involved with the super chats, because the super chats also, they really help out the channel a hell of a lot. It hasn't grown as fast as I'd would have probably liked, I would say. We've had a lot of disruptions over the time that we've started this channel, but it is growing at a rate that I am proud of, because given the landscape of cricket in South Africa over the last 4 years, it has been quite very difficult to maneuver and to build something within this environment. But we are doing a job that I think we can all be proud of, and we're building a community with new fans constantly subscribing every single day and giving amazing insights and comments in the live chat that are really helping us move forward. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing all those topics with you guys. A very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your cricket show. I'm your host, Khalid Moeddin, and this is the show where we talk about major talking points in the game in South African cricket, and we dive into some talking points, and it's also a live show, so it's interactive with the fans in the live chat as well. Like I said, on today's show, we're going to be discussing the importance of the West Indian tour before the World Cup and why it's going to be crucial to South African cricket. But before I get there, I just want to get some news things out of the way. I would like to discuss maybe a couple of things before we get into the discussion of this particular tour that it will be happening. First and foremost, South Africa or CSA, Cricket South Africa, have released the fixtures for the upcoming South African summer. And I'm happy to see that we are in a situation where we have some home games. I was worried a little bit at some point that we were going to struggle to do so. We knew that these tours were going to happen. I'm more worried about next season actually from a home fixture perspective. But they did announce some fixtures, and I'm going to read out what has been happening from that point of view. The Proteas will take on Sri Lanka in 2 tests and Pakistan in all-format tour, while the Proteas women are set to host England for a multi-format tour. The international summer with South Africa A tour against Sri Lanka, which will see the sides contest three 50-over matches, 31 August to 4 September, and two 4-day matches, 8th to the 18th of September. The Proteas men will then take on Sri Lanka in the first test at Hollywood Bets Kingsmead Stadium in Durban from 27 November to the 1st of December, before Dufferbet St George's Park in Gqeberha hosts the second test from 5th to the 9th of December. So it's good to see two venues that don't get a lot of cricket that are getting 2 test matches. Before, we used to have four test matches in a series, sometimes three, and we'd see Gqeberha and Durban get St George's Park as well as Kingsmead get tests. Now, that's good to see that we are going to get some tests there. We only play 2 test matches, so we have to split it over 2 countries. Before, we used to have, like, for example, I remember going to India, going to India for the tests against India. They played in Durban. Australia, they played in Durban. So it's good to see. It wasn't India that played in Durban. I'm lying. We played Cape Town, we played Centurion, and we played Johannesburg. For Australia, we played in Durban and Gqeberha as well. So we would get a 5-match test series against Australia, and we'd see these type of things happen. For example, against England as well, once upon a time, we had PE test matches as well. So that doesn't happen anymore as often. So it's good to see that both of those stadiums are getting some test cricket, and I hope that fans go and support and go watch that. The Proteas Women Tour against England will run concurrently, starting with a 3-match T20 International Series from 24th to the 30th of November. The 3-match one-day international series will follow at multiple venues across the country between the 4th and 11th December, with the Black Day making its return to Hollywood's Bets Kingsmead Stadium on the 8th of December. It's good to see that they are also involved with some competitive matches, the women's team. They also, I feel that they need to do some work on their structure and perhaps maybe a coaching change there. The tour will also see Laura Wolford and her Chargers take on England in the first women's test match on home soil since 2002. So I hope that people go support that as well. The 4-day encounter will be staged at the Mangong Oval in Bloemfontein from 15th to the 18th of December. Brilliant that the women are getting test matches. I feel that their game will really develop leaps and bounds, particularly now that we have a younger Proteas team in the mix. Fans will get the opportunity to see the Proteas men white ball outfit in December when Aidan Markram's T20I side takes on Pakistan in KFC T20Is, three of them, from 10 to the 14th of December. Temba Bavuma will then lead the ODI group in as many ODIs from 17 to 22 December, with a fan favorite Pink Day marked for the 22nd of December at DP World Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg. The men's final assignment of the summer will be the two-match test series against Pakistan, starting with a Boxing Day test at Supersport Park in Centurion from 26th to the 30th of December, before Bavuma's side head to Cape Town for the New Year's test at the World Sports Betting Newlands Cricket Ground on 3rd to the 7th of January. Tickets will go on sale for this on 19th of August, so you guys must make sure that you put that into your diaries. CSA CEO Paletsi Moseke commented and said, as we eagerly anticipated the 2024-25 home international season, it once again holds the promising of exhilarating encounters as we open the doors to esteemed cricketing nations like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and England. We not only showcase the talent and competitiveness of South African cricket, but also celebrate the global appeal and camaraderie inherent in our beloved sport. These fixtures serve as a platform not to just compete, but to foster bonds between nations, uniting players and fans alike in the shared love for cricket, he concluded. So here is the fixture list. South Africa A tour against Sri Lanka. The one-day matches will happen in Potchefstroom on the 31st of August and right through, so the 2nd of September, 4th of October, all in Potchefstroom. So please go and support if you're in the nearby area. Then the 4-day matches will take place in Kimberley and Benoni. In Kimberley from the 8th to the 11th of September, and in Benoni from the 15th to the 18th of September. Then the inbound tour, Pakistan inbound, the Proteas men's inbound tour against Sri Lanka, the Test series. As you said already, 27 November, 1st of December, and that one in Durban, 5th to the 9th of December in Gqeberha. Then we've got the Proteas tour against Pakistan. We've got the 3-match T20 series. Tuesday, 10th of December, it will be in Durban. Then Friday, 13th December, it will be in Centurion. And then the 14th of December, it will be in Johannesburg. I wish that they would have had it at Newlands because we never know what's going to happen with weather in Durban. ODI series, Tuesday, 17th December. We've got Boland Park in Paarl. They get an ODI, so that's really good. Then the 19th of December, we've got Newlands. And then the 22nd of December, we've got the Wanderers Johannesburg. So they wanted to obviously spread this out a little bit, I guess. The fixtures, etc. I would have maybe that's maybe the reason why they gave Newlands an ODI, not a T20, because you wouldn't want an ODI to rain out, of course, if it does happen. Then in the Test series against Pakistan, 26th to 30th of December, like I said already, Centurion Supersport Park will get one, and then we have Newlands that will get the second test. And then here are the women's fixtures. We've got the T20I series against England in East London, then Benoni, then Centurion, running through from the 24th to the 30th of December. And then we've got the ODI series, which will happen in Kimberley, in Durban, and in Potchefstroom. And then the test match will happen in Bloemfontein. So that's the fixtures for the summer that I just wanted to get out of the way over there. So, okay, let's get into this. Okay, let's get into this. This was sorry, I was reading some of the comments. I'll get to your comments a little bit later. Okay, West Indies, the T20 series, why it's crucial for the World Cup prep. Let me first get out of the way when these games will be played. Now, this is not confirmed. CSA hasn't released the fixtures. If you look on any of the websites, whether it is being Crick Info, whether it is Crick Buzz, whatever the case may be, you won't find the fixtures available. But I did some digging and some Google searches, and it took me all day to find this website. It is called CREX, and they've got fixtures over here on the site. And according to this website, South Africa will play their T20 series on May 23, May 25, and May 26. Now, I don't know what times they have given here. I don't think it's South African Standard Time. I'm not sure. So we're going to have a look at that closer to the time. But I'm just going to give you guys this because I found it. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, so don't take my word for it that this is exactly when they will be played. So, according to this website, it will be played at the end of May. So let's take that into consideration because Rob Walter made it very clear. He did say that the team can change, subject to change, based on availability of players that are playing in the IPL. So this is the preliminary squad for the West Indies series. We've got Riza Hendricks, Matthew Brzezinski, Ryan Rickerton, Rassi van der Dussen in the batting department. In the all-rounder department, we've got Patrick Kruger, Vian Mulder, and Dele Pechlekwayo. In the spinners department, you've got Bjorn Fortuin, Ngaba Peter, De Brij, Samzi. Um, and then we've got in the seaman department, we've got Otniel Bartman and Lungi Ngidi. Now, we do know that from the World Cup squad, there are still some players that can be added to this mix. You've got the likes of Quinton de Kock. You've got the likes of Tristan Stubbs, Heinrich Klaassen, Aiden Markram, Marco Janssen, Keshav Maharaj. They can all still be added to this squad. David Miller as well. So Gerald Coetzee and Kagiso Rabada too. So these are all names that we can add that could be added to the squad ahead of the West Indian tour based on availability for the series. Now, why do I say that this is important for us? At least we know Otniel Bartman, who is a part of the IPL currently but hasn't played a game yet, that he'll be available. So that's a very good thing from a South African standpoint. Now, why do I think so? When you actually go into depth and go look at the World Cup squad and try to put an 11 together, you will quickly see that there are some players that you're going to struggle to select. Because if you're going to play two spinners in the side and you're not going to consider Aiden Markram as a specialist spinner, but you're going to add two other spinners into the side to give you that extra spinning option, like the Brejams and Keshav or Bjorn, then what's going to happen is it's going to take away space away for one of the experienced bowlers because there's going to be decisions that are going to have to be made between Gerald Coetzee, Andrich Nortje, KG Rabada, Otniel Bartman. Those decisions are going to have to be made to put together a best 11 for that day. Now, with how things stand currently, with the bowling attacks, none of them are in form. Andrich Nortje struggling in the IPL. Gerald Coetzee struggling with the ball in the IPL, I would say, although he has the most wickets out of the rest of the guys. I would still say that he's currently struggling a little bit to keep his economy rate down, but he's getting wickets, and that's a good thing for a youngster. Marco Janssen has barely played games. I think he's only played 3 games in this tournament so far and hasn't really taken many wickets. KG Rabada hasn't really taken many wickets. Hasn't played all the games that he could have. I think he has played in all the games. He's taken 11 wickets, and his economy rate is decent. So he's been quite respectable. Coetzee has been our best bowler out of the guys that have been selected in the World Cup squad. He's taken 13 wickets in 10 games, but his economy rate is 10. So it is quite high. But I'm not going to judge him for that because if you look at a guy like Ashdeep Singh, who's sitting in the top 5 on the wicket taking list, he's also going at 10, but he's taken more wickets. With that extra match, it's really helped him because he also has a 4 for 29 under his name. So that's really helped him. That extra match has obviously helped him leapfrog a guy like Gerald Coetzee with the amount of wickets taken because Gerald has 13 in 10. So it's also 4 for 37 as well he has to his name. So that extra game could have helped him, obviously, get that extra wickets. But from that perspective, our bowlers aren't necessarily in the best of form. But then it will change the dynamics there because when you select Gerald Coetzee as an 8, you're giving us a best shot to deepen the batting lineup. Then you'll have to pick Maharaj at 9. And then you've only got one more space available for a seamer if you're going to pick Shamsi as well. So that's going to be, all of these guys are going to compete with each other for a spot. So you're going to have Andrich and KG going for the same position over there in a lineup if you're going to select Gerald to deepen that batting lineup. So when you start putting the teams together, you're going to start to see those type of things happening. That there is going to be certain players that are going to be left out naturally. In the batting department, I wouldn't really say that I have been completely impressed with everybody. I mean, we've had some great performances. Let's not deny that at all. But I think that there's been more consistency from the obviously the Indian batters than there has been from and even you could say some of the I mean England batter. There's been some England batters and Australian batters in this list as well that have been maybe slightly more consistent. You would have to say. Um, have been a little bit more impressive in this tournament. Our best batter so far in the tournament when it comes to runs scored from the World Cup squad has been Heinrich Klaassen. He scored the most amount of runs, has the best average, and has scored 350s. Um, the not outs that these batters have pushed their average up. So a guy like Quinton de Kock, who also has 350s to his name, doesn't have the greatest of averages because he hasn't had a not out. So the rest of the games that he's played has dropped his stats to a 26 average, but he also has 3 half centuries to his name in this tournament. So it depends how you are gonna look at these stats, because you have to look at it quite intense and quite in depth as well. Because even Tristan Stubbs, who we've been speaking about it, he's played majority of the games. I think if not all the games for DC this season. His average is 53, but he only has 250s to his name. But he's got not outs to his name because of the position he plays in. He gets quite a few not outs, so that obviously um, helps his average and has pushed his average up to the highest out of all the South African players that are in the T20 setup. So that's going to obviously show us something that is a little bit skewed, I would say. Um, and it might not necessarily be what we think it is. Because I mean, Aiden Markram hasn't been in great form either, and he's played 9 matches and he only averages 28 and only has 150 to his name. So he hasn't had the best of season with the bat for the team. And same with David Miller, who seems to be struggling a little bit as well, only 150 to his name. And Marco Janssen has barely had an opportunity with the bat this season. So we are not getting the momentum that I would have hoped in this IPL so far. Consistency over in every game. Um, you can't expect people to perform in every single T20 match. That just is what it is. But I'm very glad that Heinrich Klaassen and Stubbs have put up their hand and stood out from the rest, because I feel that those two positions in the Proteas team are going to be very crucial. I think that Stubbs could bat at 4 and Heinrich Klaassen could bat at 5. I think they can switch around. It can be either way. They are going to be very, very, very crucial to South Africa's T20 World Cup. So I doubt that they're going to be players that are going to be moved out of the IPL and brought back into the squad for the West Indies. You could possibly see Quinton de Kock leave. LSG doesn't necessarily use him in every single game. So it could be an option for them to maybe allow him to leave, but I doubt that will happen. To be honest, I don't think any of our batters will be released. So let's see what happens with the squad ahead of the camp, because there is going to be a camp in a week's time where they will select probably finalize the teams before the West Indies tour, and then we can decide what's going to happen there. But given the form of these players in the IPL so far, this is the reason why I feel that this T20 World Cup, the series to the West Indies is going to be crucial. I think that there is a real opportunity for guys like Bjorn Fortuin, Otniel Bartman, even Lungin Gidi, and Ryan Rickleton to put up their hands over here and say, you know what, maybe I can get a starting spot in the side, and then we can obviously pick on form from if that in that case. If these players start performing really well, and then the IPL guys start to find the momentum or don't, you could go with guys from the West Indian tour that have put up their hands. So I feel it's a big series for those players to really show Rob Walter that they could be selected for one of the games, for the first game perhaps, um, in the World Cup. And if we're going to go with the notion of picking on form and picking guys that already have their confidence up and not searching for form within the tournament, which I feel that some fans would probably agree with, that form needs to be picked. We need to pick players basically on form. So the momentum leading up to this tournament is going to be so important, and that West Indian series is going to be um, crucial as well. So let's see how these players continue in this IPL, and let's see how some of these players perform in the West Indian series. It's going to be quite exciting to see some of those new talents like Matthew Brzezinski as well perform and get a longer extended run. Given the amount of batters that have been selected, it's almost inevitable that this will be South Africa's top four. That all four batters will play. And then you'll have all rounders like Vian Mulder maybe getting that number 5 slot, and Patrick Kruger maybe getting that number 6 slot. And then we'd go with the rest of the bowlers according to the conditions, etc., and how we'd go with regards to that. So yeah, excited for this tour. Happy that it's happening, and I'm glad that they organized it. And I'm so happy that it's going to be in the West Indies, where we will be playing. They'll be playing in the West Indies in the World Cup as well. So some teams will be playing there, so we can get familiar with conditions as well. Let me get into your live chat and see what you guys have had to say. I've answered those questions. Khalid, please try to bring JP Dumini or Roberto onto the show. Please try especially with Dumini. At the moment, it's quite difficult. I will try and ask for the interviews, but it can't be guaranteed right now. They're all busy with other things that are important. We can't get access to them, so it's very difficult at the moment to get interviews when the players aren't necessarily here in South Africa. Easy to get access to them. Lawrence says, I think Rob is pretty set on his main squad, so I doubt things will change between now and until the end of the month. Where the West Indies tour will be of importance is some game time and filling 2 more reserved spots. We are also clearly light on all-rounders in our World Cup squad, so that tells me one of Vian or Andile will most likely form part of the squad as a travelling reserve. So those two will likely battle it out. You could say so. Based on form, you would say Vian's probably ahead in that regard. But I know that Cricket South Africa has been doing everything in their power to try and give Andile opportunities and responsibility to step up. TT says, Khalid, how are you doing? I'm good, and you, bro? I don't know if you covered it yet, but I'm very disappointed. CSA, if this is true, I read that apparently after the Pakistan test tour, next test is in 2026 against Australia. Bro, it's very depressing, but it's true. We released, I'll show you the FTP so we can have a look at it together. It is quite depressing that we're not going to get any home cricket for quite some time, in fact, which is a bummer. So I'm going to show you the FTP quickly and show you how things are going to work out, because it is quite sucky the way this program has been put together. But I'm hoping that there can be a couple of tours thrown in there in between. So in February 2025, this is after we complete our summer tour. Pakistan 50. We'll go to Pakistan in February for 4 ODIs. Then we go to Zimbabwe for 2 test matches in June. Then in July we in Zimbabwe for 4 T20s. Then in August we go to Australia for 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. Then in September we go to England for 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. Then in October, November we go to Pakistan for 2 tests, 3 ODIs, and 3 T20s. Then in November, December, we go to India for 2 tests, 3 ODIs, and 5 T20s. No games in South Africa for that entire year. So that's going to be a whole year of cricket where we're not going to have international games at home, which is going to be extremely depressing for me covering the games as well, because I'm not going to be able to go to stadiums to go watch these guys play. It's going to be sucky because I'm not going to be able to see you guys in the stands either and have conversations with you. Then in January, February 2026, West Indies tour of South Africa. They'll come down here. Apparently, here the venue are West Indies and South Africa. I don't know how that works, but that's what the thing says. South Africa, West Indies will come down to South Africa for 5 T20s. September to October 2026, Australia tour of South Africa. So that's our first time, and then we'll get a couple of matches again. So for entire of 2025, we won't get anything in South Africa, which is really sucky from a South African fan's perspective. Those dates are correct, Khalid. West Indies Cricket also released those dates. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that they are. Quinton de Kock will most likely be added to the squad. Could see as well. LSG and MI are not doing as well. KG has done quite well though. Khalid, Rob should sign Russell Domingo or ABD or Hashim Amla as assistant coach for Proteas in World Cup, as we've seen in the IPL. They've already announced their squad. They've already announced their coaches for that. Abhinav says South Africa batting unit is strong, but bowling unit is not up to the mark. Rabada has crossed his peak. Nokia not informed. Could see economy not good. Only Keshav Maharaj is economical. Heinrich Klaasen and Stubbs will be the key for South Africa. I agree with you there. Muller should be at 4, Klaasen at 5, and Stubbs as a finisher. I don't like Stubbs as a finisher. I prefer Stubbs to get more overs personally. Lawrence says sub of our main players are currently sitting on the bench in the IPL. Quintercock, Markram, Nokia, and Gerald, who has been dropped recently by MI. Janssen also just got a game. We needed a full squad versus West Indies. Let's hope that some of these guys will get released. It will probably be the guys that get knocked out early that will come in, and that's the most logical progression. I'm just playing a hopeful fan here that some of them will be able to get released, but we know that IPL won't release any players. Momentum is everything in cricket, and especially in T20 cricket. Matt 92 says get Faf in place of Quinton de Kock. Nope, don't want that. Abniav says Lungi is more suitable in West Indies pitches than Nokia. Lawrence says England are recalling all of their selected players from the IPL ahead of their T20 series against Pakistan. Very smart move by the ECB, but they also have the power to be able to do so. That is the crappy thing about everything. Khalid, this time coaches should chat with players and tell them about how to chase big totals. I think they also should be programmed that way. Be put in situations, in training sessions, under pressure, with some sort of punishment, where they've been given scenarios. Where players get given scenarios. Maybe let's say score 25 of the next 10 balls. And they must go for it. And if they don't, then they need to run laps or do the bleed test or something. I don't know. Some sort of punishment to give them incentive to want to try and improve themselves in that matter. But get put in that situations and those scenarios in training as well. Cyber Khan says, please speak on the Dean Alga situation. Apparently, CSA stabbed him in the back. I'm not going to comment on that until I hear from the coach as well, because it's only a one-sided story that. He's basically said that there's political things involved, etc., that have the reason for why he didn't get selected, or that the why he left, and why he turned down the captaincy, and he has some issues with the way Coach Shukri handled the situation. So I would like to hear first from the coach before I say anything, because there's two sides to that story, of course. Mikey Larry says, how's it, guys? Just joined in. Hope everyone is doing well, man. I can't wait for the World Cup. Mike says, how late will our games be broadcasted during the World Cup? So I'll put up the fixtures for you quickly, Mike. We've got it over here. I did put it up here. 4:30 game against Sri Lanka, 4:30 game against the Netherlands, 4:30 game against Bangladesh, and then a 1:30 a.m. game against Nepal as the final game. So at least some people would say those are our main games, but I don't want to underestimate any team. You know that South Africa can lose to anybody on any given day and beat anybody on any given day. So I don't want to underestimate Nepal as a side. I know that maybe sounds quite naive from me or might be silly from me, but to some, but those are our fixtures. At least we're going to get all our main games. Our first three games are all going to be at a nice time for us. And remember, we'll do previews before the day before the games, and we'll do reviews directly after the game's conclusion. So please come and tune in on the shows live after the game to discuss things. Mikey's given his 11. Hold on to that 11. We're going to do a show later in the week or next week that will cover the 11s and stuff and what we'd like to see. So hold on to onto that team for the next show, please, bro. Lawrence says, with SA playing against West Indies in January, Feb 2026, and with us not having any home cricket schedule for December 2025, tells me that SA20 will most likely start in December. Doubt CSA will want to lose that December market. Good point. Very good point. Navneet says, Khari, bro, do you think SA have a chance to win the T20 World Cup? I think we always have a chance. It's always about pressure moments and how we handle that and whether we can get over the line. We've always been a team that had a lot of promise. Okay. Last World Cup, we were kind of the underdogs. In the 50 over World Cup, we were the underdogs. And we almost got there again, and we didn't make it. So let's hope. Let's hope this time around we can take it one step further than just the semi-final. Let's give it our best go. I think we have a very, very talented team that have all the capabilities of getting far in this World Cup. I don't like to necessarily predict who's going to win a final, because on any given day in a final, a team can turn up and the best team can disappear, and the team that is the underdog can win it. Australia's done that now on plenty of occasions. Yes, as a fan base, we would probably go with a thought process of saying that Australia does know how to get over the line. But even in World Cups of past, the recent World Cups of the past, they haven't necessarily been the team that have been the favorites for the tournament, but yet they still go and win it. Look at the recent World Cup. They went on a losing streak to start off the tournament, and they came back and didn't lose a game, and then ended up winning the semi-final against us, and then going on to win the World Cup as well. So not the favorites of a tournament leading into a tournament are not always the ones that win the World Cup. But yes, South Africa has a chance. Arvin says, what will be the team composition, and will SA play Kutsia over Nokia? We will talk a little bit about that on another show when we talk about the selections and the possible selections that we can put together. Abhinav says, Aiden Markram can be lucky for South Africa. He's played really well for South Africa in recent times. So I'm hoping that he can continue that. Captain said he's not able to bowl 6 good length deliveries. Who are we talking about? Marco. Yeah, Marco hasn't been in great form. We're definitely going into this T20 World Cup as one of the main favorites. We've reached a semi-final in Cricket World Cup 2023. So the realistic final at the T20 World Cup would be progression for us in regards to the ICC events. And we just missed out on a semi-final spot in the first, the Abu Dhabi World Cup. Was it Abu Dhabi? I think it was. Or the UAE. We just missed out on that World Cup. It was crazy that World Cup. We played really well, good cricket, and we just ended up not making up enough points. I think we lost out on run rate, if I'm not mistaken. And then the second World Cup, we all know what happened against the Netherlands. And then obviously the 50 over World Cup making the semi. So you have Very valid points over there. Random fanboy says, why don't you do live commentary on the matches? Because a cricket match is 4 hours and I don't have the equipment to be able to do a watch along for those games. That's the reason why I don't do any live commentary for those matches. Um, I need a much better setup from an equipment standpoint, cameras, um, hard computer, etc., to be able to run the processes to get a smooth 4 hour show. So, and it wouldn't be smart for me to split it up in 2 hours, 2 hours, because people will get completely lost on the channel if I do it in that way. So that's the reason why I don't do that. Also, the setup where I'm at, there's no TV where I'm sitting. And for me to be able to put up a TV in this room is obviously going to cost me money as well. So, which we don't have the budget for that currently. So that's why I don't do watch alongs. Um, as this channel grows and we can start earning some decent money from this channel, and then we can start maybe talking about putting those type of things in place in the future. 90, M9, Matt 92 says, shouldn't be quick to dismiss Faf. Age is just a number. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think, it's not about dismissing Faf. I just don't think it would be a good decision for South Africa's future to bring him now all of a sudden in. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to obviously subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell for all future videos, please. It really helps us, the channel, if you do so. Also, smash the like button, comment, and share to get us into recommended feeds on YouTube and to spread this content far and wide. I've been your host, Khalid, and this was my show. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon with another daily show. Click the notification bells to get updated on when we go live. Thanks a lot, guys. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening and peace out, everyone.